Respect in K-pop. Yeah, that's basically a joke at this point.
The key to my destiny. But I still hold the key to my destiny.
Sharing opinions in 2025? Forget it. Say one thing that doesn't match someone's brain map, and suddenly, you're canceled. People preach about nuance, but the second someone actually shows it, it's arguments, not discussion. Stans jump down your throat over your thoughts, beliefs, or taste, like daring to speak makes you evil. So yeah, hello again, Rosie Aries. I'm skipping the formal intro. Let's just get these opinions out so I can go about my day before someone drags me for existing. Let's not even tiptoe into this. Some idols are only considered charismatic because everyone else in their group performs like background NPCs, waiting for their Wi-Fi to reconnect. Like, half of y'all aren't falling for charisma, you're falling for contrast. If the group is giving beige wallpaper, then of course the one person who blinks dramatically and does a half smirk suddenly looks like Beyoncé reincarnated. It's the same energy as when you go to a karaoke night and one dude sings slightly on key, and suddenly he's the main event. No, he's not. He's just not tone deaf like the rest of the crowd. That's what's happening with these so-called charisma kings and queens. Their shine isn't actual shine, it's just everyone else being dust. Drop that same idol into a group where everyone actually has presence, and watch how fast they disappear into the lineup. Poof. No aura, no mystique, just another face in the choreography. Their whole reputation is built on standing next to human coat racks, who couldn't sell a lyric if their rent depended on it. So yeah, next time people hype someone's star power, remember, it might not be star power at all. It might just be group power imbalance, a glorified optical illusion. Y'all out here mistaking relative glow for actual talent, and it's wild. Successfully wasting potential. That's basically Everglow's career in one sentence. I was rooting for them hard during 4th gen, like actually invested, thinking they'd take over if people just gave them a chance. But nope. Uewa Entertainment fumbled the bag so badly, the general public basically erased Everglow from memory. And it hurts even more now that Mia, the main vocalist, and Yiren, the visual and center, dipped. That's not a small cut. That's like removing the spine from the body and expecting it to walk. I know some groups can bounce back after losing members, but this isn't just any random position we're talking about. This is their vocal anchor and the face of the group. Without all 6, Everglow feels off balance, like a puzzle missing the most noticeable pieces. And that kills me to say, because Everglow genuinely made 4th gen exciting. Do I want them to prove me wrong? Absolutely. But until then, the group feels like a ghost of what they used to be. Cat's Eye's 2025 comebacks feel like pulling a random gacha character. You either hit jackpot or you're sitting there like, what on earth did I just stream? And that's both their superpower and their biggest headache. Hardcore fans will eat it up, and they'll even analyze their music like it's a thesis, defend every weird sound effect, and call it, quote, artistic range. To them, Cat's Eye being unpredictable is the thrill. On the other hand, casual listeners don't care about range. They're not trying to solve a puzzle every time they hit play. One minute, Cat's Eye's dropping something stadium-sized and anthemic. Next minute, they sound like they recorded in a neon-lit basement with a broken synthesizer. For stans, it's exciting. For casuals, it's exhausting. And that's where the double-edged sword slices. Unpredictability keeps the core fandom loyal, but it also makes it impossible to grow. People can't latch onto you if they never know what version of you they're getting. This is not always the case, though. Regardless, I still enjoy their music, and if managed properly in the long run, can end up being one of the biggest girl groups out there. Imagine biting into what you think is a regular chocolate chip cookie, but boom, it's olives. That's Kiki's music in 2025. They're not here to feed you comfort food. They're serving dishes half the audience didn't even know existed. And honestly, that's both genius and reckless. Some fans lap it up, bragging about how you just don't get it if you're not vibing, but others are piecing out by the second chorus. Kiki's whole brand is being unpredictable, artsy, avant-garde, basically the kids in class who turned in a collage instead of the essay. And sure, that earns them points for originality. But some audiences don't want to feel like they're decoding an art gallery installation every time they press play. They want something catchy, repeatable, playlist-friendly. The problem is, when your sound is too experimental, it doesn't matter how talented you are. Most people just don't stick around. Kiki isn't unlikable. They're just a lot. And that a-lotness risks keeping them locked in cult favorite territory, instead of breaking into true mainstream success. It's funny how some people love to brand themselves as good and moral, like they're carrying the weight of decency on their backs. They talk about family, faith, protecting the community, standing up for what is right, or whatever buzzwords keep the audience clapping. On the surface, it looks wholesome, until you actually listen to what they're saying and notice the contradictions. Because here's the thing, real empathy doesn't disappear when it's inconvenient. But these people use kindness like a costume. They'll preach about caring for others, then turn around and tear down entire groups of people without hesitation. They'll call it morality, but it's really just performance. And the wildest part is that people who agrees with them, you know, the ones who lack critical thinking, lap it up. They don't see the hypocrisy, because they're too busy applauding the act. They mistake a polished speech for integrity and selective empathy for compassion. But if your care only extends to the people who agree with you, it was never real care to begin with. You completely lose it the moment someone challenges your viewpoint. And instead of offering anything logical or sensible to defend your claims, you twist the narrative and try to make the other person, the one actually speaking sense, look awful. You're only loud when it benefits you, but when it comes to real issues, you either don't care or put on an act of caring. Honestly, it's no wonder the world feels like it's filled with clowns. Intelligent people often end up hated or isolated, not because they're wrong, but because they refuse to fall in line and play the role of sheep. There's a difference in sharing an opinion and being straight up hateful. However, stans can't seem to differentiate those two, and all of a sudden hate becomes difference of opinion when it fits their agenda. Y'all are fake as hell. At the end of the day, some people don't want leaders who are good. They want leaders who sound good. And that's how performative empathy gets mistaken for character. Even if New Jeans had never stepped foot in controversy land, their music would still be cruising toward a plateau. Not a crash, not a flop, just that flat stretch of highway where everything feels familiar. Because, let's be honest, their sound is so distinct and recognizable that it risks becoming their comfort blanket. Cute? Yes. Addictive? Absolutely. But innovative forever? Nah. At some point, even the freshest vibe starts tasting like reheated leftovers. They'd still be massive. Maybe even bigger. Why? Because their fandom is locked in. Those fans would stream an alarm clock ringtone if it had New Jeans slapped on it. Popularity wouldn't dip. If anything, it would inflate, because loyalty plus consistency equals streams on streams. But that doesn't change the fact that musically, they'd be stuck in a loop. A stylish, polished, very marketable loop, but a loop nonetheless. Controversy or not, the sound they built their empire on can only carry them so far before the industry starts asking, okay, but what's next? Respect in K-pop? Yeah, that's basically a joke at this point. It feels like stans treated as some optional DLC they never bought. The second you ask for it, whether it's calling out offensive behavior or just wanting idols to not mock serious issues, you're suddenly labeled the bad guy. Like, excuse me for not wanting to be disrespected? What's funny is, these same people love to parade around with their no toxicity, spread love only slogans, but the moment you speak out, their masks slip. Suddenly, they're spewing the very hatred they claim to be against. It's like they don't even hear themselves. You can't say you're anti-toxicity while breathing fire at anyone who asks for basic awareness. That's not positivity, that's performative nonsense. So which is it? Do you actually value kindness, or do you just enjoy the moral high ground until it gets inconvenient? Because from where I'm standing, the real fandom superpower isn't unity or streaming. It's hypocrisy dressed up as morality. Stop debuting global groups if you don't know what you're doing, seriously. Some of these companies act like tossing a few international trainees together automatically equals world domination, but then they freeze up the second it's time to actually market them. Slapping the word global in a press release isn't a strategy. If you don't understand international audiences, don't bother. If you can't come up with a concept that has legs past the debut showcase, don't bother. If you're already drowning trying to manage your existing roster, why on earth are you adding another group to the mix? That's like forgetting to feed your cat but running out to adopt a dog. Make it make sense. The truth is, global groups could work if companies actually invested in cultural understanding, real promotion, and consistent concepts that don't feel like they were copy-pasted from a dusty PowerPoint. Otherwise, you're just setting these idols up to flop internationally while wasting their potential. And nothing screams bad management louder than hyping up global impact with no clue how to achieve it. Successfully standing out? That's what Kickflip actually did with their debut, and I'll give JYP credit where it's due. Slapping the skateboard vibe on a boy group is low-key genius. It's fresh, it's clean, and it instantly gives them an identity, instead of blending into the pile of cookie-cutter boy groups that all feel like copy-paste versions of each other. Like, if you say the skateboard group, everybody knows exactly who you're talking about. That's branding done right. But oh boy, branding only gets you so far. You can throw all the hoodies, street poses, and half pipes in the world at me, but if the songs don't hit, people aren't going to replay them past the hype cycle. Nobody wants a group remembered as those skater dudes with mid-tracks. The music has to back it up. I'm rooting for them though, because the potential here is huge. Imagine if their songs were just as addictive as the concept. Loud, bold, and high energy. Kickflip could literally own their lane, but if the music doesn't keep up, they'll just skate by instead of dominating. Hearts to Hearts. Music is kind of forgettable. Like, you listen once, and by the time the chorus ends, it's already gone from your brain. I'm not here to start a fan war. But honestly, it feels like SM just threw this group together to fill the gap left by other disbanded or inactive groups. You know, like a placeholder while they focus all their energy on aespa. The songs are meh. The concept are meh. The effort is definitely not equally spread. It's like the group exists on paper more than on stage. They're ticking boxes without giving fans anything to really grab onto. I can't figure out what direction SM is even trying to take with them. Are they experimental? Are they safe? Are they supposed to blow up globally? Who knows, because it doesn't feel like anyone involved actually has a plan. And that's the problem. Without a clear identity or memorable tracks, Hearts to Hearts risks being the group people scroll past instead of obsess over. Right now, they're just filler, floating in SM's shadow. For the millionth time, these are just my opinions. I shouldn't have to say that every single time, but here we are. People out here losing their minds over the mildest takes. It's honestly ridiculous. If you actually enjoyed this video, though I'm guessing most of you didn't, go ahead, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, Rogieries, so you don't miss the chaos next time. If I survive the canceling spree, I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.